Meow.
Thanks for staying up later. Dawn Steele, once referred to as the most powerful woman in Hollywood, is with us, and this is her memoir of those years at Paramount and Columbia. They can kill you, but they can't eat you. Lessons from the front. I guess if they really wanted to, they could. I mean, it's
Not
a
possible.
cannibalistic enough business, right?
It's not possible to kill you. Because the fact of the matter is, no matter what happens, no matter how bad it is, you're still there in the morning. You know, your soul is still there.
How bad can it get? I mean, after all, you had tremendous successes. I'm going to look at the list. Top Gun, Fatal Attraction, The Untouchables, Ghost, Beverly Hills Cop, among the movies you sent into production at Paramount, the restoration of Lawrence of Arabia while you were at Columbia, The Last Emperor won a bunch of Oscars. So the successes is a long list, but it tore you up inside as well, right?
It tore me up inside, but I think the best example of how bad it can get was, for me, when I was in labor with my daughter Rebecca, who's now 6. And I had gone through 17 or 18 hours of really bad labor without anesthesia. And then I had an emergency C-section. Figure that was bad enough, but the next morning, as I was holding Rebecca in my arms, and my husband walked in, and his face was white, and he had the Hollywood trade papers in his hand, and he said, "Babe, you just lost your job." What do you mean I lost my job? So as it turned out, while I was in labor, I had been, in effect, replaced. So what I learned is they could kill me, which they did, but they didn't eat me because I was still there. And 6 months later, I was offered the job of running Columbia.
At Columbia.
Yeah.
Now, do you think the people at Paramount, you had worked with Jeff Katzenberg,
Right.
Barry Diller, and Michael Eisner, then they moved on, new
Yes.
leadership comes in. Was the new leadership that insensitive, or was it just a horrible mistake and they didn't realize their timing?
I don't think it was a mistake, and I think given how huge I was, and I was huge, it was not possible to make a mistake. They knew I was pregnant. I promise they knew.
You think they did it on purpose?
Yes, I do. And again, this is, you know, I believe really strongly, which I talk about in the book, is that if you see yourself as a victim, others will see you as a victim. I believe that particularly among women. So I do not see myself as a victim and never have. But the point is I did not get along with my boss. And it happens in corporations all over America, and it happened to me. And I think the point is that you either you have to cut your losses, and you have to get out of there. And I had no choice. I had to get out of there.
Your boss was Frank Mancuso.
I had 2 bosses. I had Ned Tannen and Frank Mancuso.
Now, did the fact that you were a powerful woman have anything to do with your not getting along with them, or was this just simply a clash of individuals and circumstances?
Well, it's hard to say. You know, sexism is unconscious, you know, so, you know, I don't believe that you can deal with it in a conscious way. You have to ignore it, which is what I always chose to do and still do. But I can't tell you that they were sexist or not sexist. I think that it was a difference of management styles. You know, I think both of them were I was very, and am, you know, I see something I want to get done, and I go straight for it. And so, but they didn't. They weren't like that. They were much more subtle. I'm not subtle.
What was your biggest mistake? I don't mean in terms of movies that were produced, but internally, as you look back, what was your fault?
I made a couple of mistakes. You know, I didn't co-opt these people as much as I should have. I took them for granted. I took the relationships with them for granted. When I was under pressure, I had a temper and didn't control it nearly as well as I should have and do now. And I think that I learned a lot of lessons from that whole thing. But finally, the thing that Jeff Katzenberg, who now runs Disney, says to me all the time, you can never take it personally. It's hard not to take it personally when you lose your job while you're in labor, but it's just business. And particularly for women who don't think in those terms, that part of any success is rejection. I mean, you know what the best antidote for me was? You know that you'll know this better than anyone else. Babe Ruth, who, as you know, was the home run king for a long time, was also the strikeout king.
Right.
Now, no risk, no gain. If he didn't get up at that bat and really try to hit that ball, he never would have hit those home runs.
You acknowledge in your book that you were more than a tough boss, at times overbearing. Would that have been viewed differently if the same behavior came from a man?
You know, it's a question I kind of wish you would answer that question. Because if I answer that question, there's kind of no way for me to answer it without sounding defensive. What I can say to you is that there certainly have been instances where male bosses have thrown chairs at employees and used abusive language and done all sorts of things, and it never seems to surface in the same way. But again, I take the responsibility for my actions. You know, I am a perfectionist.
You were brutal on secretaries, tough on subordinates generally, right?
Tough in terms of getting what I needed to get out of them. Yes, demanding, very demanding. And I'm more demanding on myself than I am on anybody else.
Did it go, and that's true of most people who are demanding of others,
yes.
that they are unbelievably harsh on themselves. But did it go beyond demanding excellence into just being mean without your even realizing it,
no,
perhaps?
No.
No.
No, what I didn't realize, though, which I have since realized, I'm not a mean person. And in fact, I like to think of myself as being quite big-hearted. And in fact, when you see Cool Runnings, you'll see it manifest in the
Cool
movies.
Runnings is the Disney film about the Jamaican bobsled team,
which has a huge heart.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yes, I hope so. I hope it's funny. But I think the point is that, let me say, abusive behavior is bad behavior. But when you're trying to get something done, like running a motion picture studio, you have to do what you have to do to get excellence out of people. But the thing that I learned, this is what I wanted to come back to, is the whole notion of being critical of people, which I only recently realized does not work no matter what your motivation is. So if I say, I don't like the way that was done, it doesn't work. It makes people defensive, and the work isn't great. But if you say, why don't you try doing it this way, you get much better results from people. Mm-hmm. And it took me a long time to realize that. Criticism is useless.
What job did you have to say to yourself, I don't even know if I'm capable of doing this, but the door is open and I'm barging through?
Every single one. I mean, every single job. When Michael Eisner said to me, Michael Eisner, who now runs Disney.
This is at Paramount then?
This was at Paramount. And I had been in the merchandising area. And I had done something that was pretty visible that he had seen, and he decided that he was going to promote me into the movie business. And I walked into his office, and he said, congratulations, I've made you a production vice president in movies. And I said, well, I don't know anything about movies. And he says, neither does anyone else. Goodbye, good luck, and break a leg.
He just saw in you human qualities rather than specific experience and background.
Exactly, but he was great at that. And I was really fortunate to have a boss like Michael Eisner who had no reservations about plucking people from other areas and promoting them within his company. And he felt that I had good ideas and I could identify a good idea, which to him was gold. Just the ability to identify a good idea.
Here's a quote taken from the Wall Street Journal from Jeffrey Katzenberg,
right.
Who was in that group of people running Paramount at that time and now, as you say, is back with Eisner at Disney. She genuinely understands what the essential ingredients are for quality and entertainment in movies. What are those essential ingredients?
Well, a good idea. You must have a good idea at the focus, at the center of a movie. Because if you don't, there is no way that you can make your audience know what the movie is about. And there have been many movies that have had great ideas at the center. I'm about to hang myself, so I'm just going to keep going with this. At the center of a movie that were done really badly, that were very successful. I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to.
Go ahead.
I'll give you, for instance, Cocktail.
Mm-hmm.
Not a good movie, but had a great idea at the center of the movie, so that the Disney marketing machine, if you will, could market it to everyone, and it didn't hurt that Tom Cruise was in it. And the movie did extremely well. On the other hand, if you take a movie like Tender Mercies, which was a movie that did not have a clear, great idea at its core, but was done incredibly well, very few people went to see it, because it was very difficult to market that movie.
How much pressure is there within Hollywood from people who want some sort of critical acceptance, some sort of respect from intellectual quarters, but the pressure is to make films that are going to be commercially successful? Does that play into it? Well, I mean, Flashdance was critically scorned and sneered at.
Most of the commercial movies I've worked on have been critically scorned. But my job was to make movies for the audience first. And I'm not going to tell you it felt great. It didn't feel great. I mean, some of the reviews on these movies were scathing. But I have to tell you, I've made some movies and worked on some movies that I am enormously proud of. You know, The Accused certainly was a movie that I was really and am really proud of. And it got some good reviews. Casualties of War got some great reviews. Not a lot of people went to see it, unfortunately.
Right.
But I think what you have to do is you have to have a balance of commercial movies, and if you make enough commercial movies, which was my point on The Accused, this was right after Top Gun, and I was able to go back and say, okay, I just worked on Top Gun, now let me make The Accused, which was also made for $7 or $8 million.
What couldn't you get made that
Ghost.
you wanted? Ghost?
And I couldn't get Good Morning Vietnam made.
Why?
Both of those. Because the people who I was working for at the time did not see the movie. They did not get it. They did not see it. Ghost eventually did get made at Paramount after an administration change. I had left, and so had the other people who were there. And Good Morning Vietnam, I could not get my boss to see the movie. He just thought it was, you know, 60s, not, you know, boring. It was a retread of the same issues. He didn't see the humor in it.
To what extent do you think Hollywood reflects America? Or do you buy the argument that seems to have more and more people in its camp these days, that even if good films are made, that the values and the projection of America that Hollywood puts out there, it doesn't line up with what the country is about?
Well, that's a very hard it's a really hard blanket statement or a question to answer, because I think there are some people who care deeply about it and who want to make films that have integrity and with moral messages, if you will, you know, and at the expense of sounding like I'm drumming my movie, Cool Runnings, you know, again, is a movie that has great dignity about it, and it's not violent, and it has no dirty words in it. You know, I think that it can be done, and I think that there are people who want to make those kind of movies. Again, look at the Joy Luck Club, look at Free Willy, you know, hopefully look at Cool Runnings, and I can, you know, there are so many really fine movies that have their heart, its heart in the right place. But on the other hand, this is about commerce. If people keep going to violent movies, we will keep making them. It's very simple. Stop going, and they'll stop being made. Same thing for television.
How corrupt is the business? Is it so corrupt that eventually you got to take a step back and get away from it just to cleanse yourself?
Well, it may be emotionally corrupt. I don't know that it's financially corrupt in that sense, you know. You have to step back from it, and you can never take yourself too seriously. And in fact, there was this, you know, the moment when I learned that, when I just gotten the head of production job at Paramount, and I went to a fundraiser at Lou Wasserman's house, who's kind of legendary chairman of Universal, and I walked around, and I didn't know anybody, and I didn't belong there, and I wasn't at these people's level yet, and I said, all right, I've had it. Not one person has paid 1 second of attention to me, and I would say, hi, I'm Dawn Steele, and they would say, oh, okay, and they would turn away. And I finally said, it's time for me to go, and I walked outside, and I was waiting for my car, and Bob Daly, who's chairman of Warner Brothers, came toward me with his hand outstretched, and I thought, wow, this is great. He knows me. He knows who I am, and he's going to welcome me to the boys' club. And he put his hand out, and he handed me his parking ticket and said, it's a white Mercedes. That was the last time I got arrogant about anything. So,
it's a true story.
A true story, and probably the greatest lesson I learned in the movie business.
Right now at Sears Brand Central, chill out with cool savings. 2 great Kenmore refrigerators are at their lowest prices ever. This 21 cubic foot Kenmore with factory installed ice maker is only $699.99. Save $180. This big 24 cubic foot side-by-side Kenmore has ice, crushed ice, and water through the door, and it's only $1179.99. You save $220. So chill out, but hurry in. At their lowest prices ever, they're going to go fast.
We thought we'd been everywhere, seen everything. We were wrong.
We're back to the bone. We're back to the bone.
These guys were weird, and we liked it. Later, they took us to the Tower of Bud. Brother, tomorrow we ride again.
Love this place! It's the new Burger King Everyday Value Menu with big Flame World burgers for only 99 cents.
I can't do it myself for 99 cents.
Your favorite Burger King foods at new, lower everyday prices, like the Croissant Combo served hot and fresh for $1.99. Check your Burger King Everyday Value Menu and be sure to try the delicious Flame World Whopper Combo for $2.99.
That's great news for my pocketbook.
Value every day. Have it your way.
You're going to want to come back every day.
Give it up, y'all. Yeah! What's up?
The Comedy of Martin Lawrence. On sale now. $7.99 cassette, $10.99 CD at all Music Plus locations.
And we're back with Dawn Steele, former head of production at Paramount, former head of the Columbia studio. What's the biggest mistake you ever made?
Oh, God, there were so many. That's a very, ooh. I didn't expect that question. I think I think there have been many professional ones, but the biggest personal mistake I ever made was having an abortion.
Why?
You didn't expect that answer, did you?
No.
Because I don't think, I didn't realize that I would never get over it. I knew that the marriage I was in was over, but I never got over it.
Is it, do you think, politically incorrect in the minds of many women to note that it isn't quite as simple?
I think that any woman who's ever been through an abortion, ever, knows that it is the ambivalence is just profound. And that if you think you can't support the child, if you think it's a bad environment to bring up a child, if you have any sane reason, there is still balanced by the absolute pain of having to do it. And I think, you know, the whole notion of women's rights is nobody ever wants an abortion. You know, the ability to have an abortion because you have to is a very different conversation.
So this is not to be taken that you're against a woman's right to choose.
I'm completely pro-choice. I mean, it is my decision to make, and I made it. But again, it doesn't mean that I don't think that it was a mistake.
Professionally, your biggest mistake?
My biggest mistake professionally? God. Well, I didn't make any mistakes. I was completely perfect executive. Well, I've made some movies that weren't successful.
Yeah, like what? What movies did you believe in that just, they bombed? And you see in retrospect, it wasn't the audience's fault, it wasn't poorly produced, shouldn't have been produced. Bad idea.
There was there was a great script called Thief of Hearts, which I loved. It was a story about a thief who stole a woman's diaries.
I saw this movie. I swear to
person.
God I saw this movie. I saw it on a hotel box someplace.
Oh, okay. You thought it was a softcore.
Get out of town.
Sorry, okay. It was meant to be. And
it was on
done well.
Spectravision.
Well, okay. But I think the point was, I thought I was making the first studio highly erotic film, and the script was really good, and the movie was really bad. Terrible. Terrible. You want more?
Well, I'm not stopping you.
This is a nightmare. There was The Whoopee Boys.
The Whoopee Boys.
The Whoopee Boys. Did you see that
no,
one,
I didn't
Bob?
see The Whoopee Boys.
Oh, okay. Just checking. How about Rustler's Rhapsody?
Can't say as I did.
How about, God, I can't, 3's enough. I promise, 3 is enough.
Rustler's Rhapsody, The Whoopee Boys, and Thief of Hearts.
Well, you saw 1 out of 3, isn't
I saw 1 out of 3.
So
and if every American could make that statement, you'd be in clover.
I would be in clover. You're exactly right. Fortunately, I hope this next one does not go on that list.
Let's talk about Cool Runnings. You're reunited with Michael Eisner and Jeff Katzenberg back at Disney. I take it that that's a terrific working environment.
It's terrific. I ran there after Columbia, and I just wanted the protection of an environment where I knew that they respected my taste and my instincts. And although it took me a very long time to get this movie made, much longer than it could have been on that disaster list, on the disaster list of the ones that I never got made, it finally got made and got made well, I think. It's funny and it's moving, and you know, we call it the oxymoron movie because it's about 4 guys who had never seen snow, as you know. You must have seen them.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Weren't they cute?
They were very cute.
But if you think, as I stood on top of that,
they became one of those quirky stories that
like
come out of every Olympic
Games,
yes. like Eddie the Eagle, the skier, that people sort of all over the world attach themselves to.
Well, because this is the thing. I am always interested in movies about ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And they were ordinary, although they were gifted runners. You know, and I think you have to give them the credit for that. They were world-class athletes in some other way and didn't qualify to run, which is, in our movie, we took some license, what they wanted to do. But they got up there, and I have to tell you, as you stand up there on the bobsled run, on the top of it, I think, are you crazy going down this run? They are nuts.
Okay, everybody in. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Don't touch me.
Hey, Baldy, get off my foot.
Don't touch me. Come on.
Hey, Blitzer! Why don't you put some training wheels on that sled?
That's funny. Very funny.
You want to kiss my egg?
I'm not kissing no egg.
Suit yourself.
Now listen up, fellas. I don't want you to worry about looking good out there.
Ah, Blitzy. You're going to tuck them in, too?
Hey, seem into you like nobody likes us.
We're different. People are always afraid of what's different.
This is $20,000. This is also $20,000. You'd take care of this, wouldn't you? You should take care of your car just as carefully, which is why you should bring your car to Jiffy Lube and ask for Pennzoil. Your car is worth thousands of dollars. Give it the quality of Pennzoil and the experience of Jiffy Lube.
We got experience at Jiffy Lube.
Jiffy Lube, America's favorite oil change.
How wild is the taste of Hershey's cookies and mint? The mouth-watering combination of crunchy cookie bits and lightly minted Hershey's chocolate is outrageous. It's the coolest Hershey bar so far.
Who makes the only TV with a smart sound feature, which ensures your volume will stay at normal levels, even when something like this comes on?
Magnavox. Smart. Very smart.
Yes! No use shouting, old man.
It is time to protect neighborhoods and deal with the suffering of the homeless.
This man terrorized a New York neighborhood.
My child can't walk the streets. I was attacked by a man with a 4x6 piece of metal.
The wild man of 96th Street. Has he become a symbol of what's wrong with America's cities?
We're putting our head in the sand and our neighborhoods are going down the tubes as a result.
What will America do about the homeless epidemic?
Give me love, give me respect, give me dignity.
Next Donahue.
Tomorrow at 2, here on Channel 4.
There are over 1 million prostitutes in the United States. More than 85% of them were subject to incest, rape, and physical violence as children. Many enter into a life of prostitution as early as 13 years old. Prostitution is a crime against humanity. The Mary Magdalene Project. Call 213-725-7230 and help end the cycle of abuse.
A lot of your sense of yourself comes from your mother's toughness and independence,
yes,
especially following a breakdown,
yes,
that your father had.
Yes. My father lost all his money when I was probably 8 or 9, and it was embezzled by his best friend and partner, and he had a nervous breakdown as a result. And my mother had to go back to work, and there was no choice. My father was not capable, and in those days they treated breakdowns with electrotherapy, and we didn't know whether he was going to be okay or not for a pretty long time. I mean, I'm happy to tell you he's fine and he's functional, but at that time, my mother, who was completely unprepared for going to work, went to work. She got a job as an assistant bookkeeper, and they offered her $60 a week, and she said, I'm not doing this job for $60 a week. I will do this job for 1 week for no money, and then you tell me if I'm worth the $70 that I think I'm worth. Mm-hmm. And she was worth it, and she got a raise every month after that for a while.
What would you say is the message, if you can sum it up? What's the message that comes out of this book? I mean, there's a lot of different themes that you touch upon, plus there are a lot of interesting anecdotes, just interesting in and of themselves. But what's the theme you think that emerges from this?
For me, it's if I can do it, anyone can do it. Truly anyone. You know, as you know, I started out with nothing, with no money, with a father who had a nervous breakdown, a mother who had to go back to work unskilled for $60 or $70 a week. You know, I didn't know anybody when I came to LA. I didn't have connections. I didn't know anything about the business that I was getting into, and I was 30 or 32 years old before I started that career in the movie business. So I truly believe, again, that if I can do this, anybody can do this.
Was the movie business as glamorous as you thought it might be as a kid? Was it, hey, here I am in Hollywood, or was it disillusioning?
Well, let me tell you, the first day I got to Paramount, there was this moment when I drove up. I got lost, because I always get lost. And I drive up to this building. It says, I get out of my car, it says information. And I walk up, and it's a facade. It's not real. I said, okay, I know exactly where I'm at. And I turn right, and I'm walking across the lot, and John Travolta and Warren Beatty are coming at me from either side. And I'm saying, oh God, I've died and gone to heaven. Look where I've wound up. Aside from that moment, it's all been really hard work.
Everyone knows Duracell batteries last a real long time, but why? Hey, Kristen, does that science course teach you why these batteries last so long? What? Never mind. And my wife's big in these consumerist issues. Hey, honey, these Duracell...
Yeah?
Not the right time. Oh, there's a clue. Hey, TJ.
What?
Too young. Think I'll go on a little quest. Find out why these Duracell batteries last so long, even if it takes me to the end of the block. Oh, my know-it-all neighbor, Jerry. Hey, Jer!
Duracell. No other battery lasts longer.
And I'm going to find out why. So, Mike, you're one of the last of the neighborhood pharmacists, I guess.
That is correct.
Seems you only carry Duracell batteries back there.
That is
Ever
correct.
figure out what makes them last so long?
It's a mystery. Someday I'm going to solve it. But they're so dependable that there's no question or doubt I haven't any hesitation whatsoever in selling them.
Any other kind of product in here you'd equate with Duracell batteries?
None whatsoever.
Nothing else in the store is as reliable?
Nothing.
Not even you?
Well, I am.
Duracell. No other battery lasts longer.
That is correct.
But why?
The Miller Genuine Draft Rusty Wallace stock card. See it. Hear it. Feel it. Catch it, if you can.
I don't think I'm in love with him anymore. I don't think he's in love with me anymore.
When anger replaces passion, can this marriage be saved?
It's become less that I want to do it versus I have to do it.
I have tried everything from being sexy to wearing sweats to not wearing makeup to wearing makeup.
A couple in crisis tries counseling before it's too late.
Nothing has seemed to work.
Can love lost be found?
Try. Don't give it up.
On the next John and Lisa.
Tomorrow morning at 11, here on Channel 4.
Cool Runnings, the movie about the Jamaican bobsled team, has opened at a theater near you. And this has been on the stacks in a bookstore near you for a while. They can kill you, but they can't eat you. Lessons from the Front by Dawn Steele. It was good to meet you. Thank you very much.
It was great to meet you.
Time to get out of here. See you later.
Good night. Good morning.
What are you looking at?
Start thinking about the crime you've been charged with.
I'm a virgin.
It's back.
I need your help.
The season premiere. You don't want to miss it. L.A. Law, NBC Thursday.
She's a virgin.
From NBC Studios in New York, it's Late Night with Conan O'Brien. Tonight, Maury Povich, Victoria Van Meter, and Gerald Posner with the Max Weinberg 7. I was just thinking.